Diane and welcome to ViuTV News. Coming up on tonight's show, Hong Kong's disgraced former chief executive Donald Tsang released from prison on a cash bail of $100,000. France wakes up to new political landscape. Centrist Emmanuel Macron takes on far-right's Marine Le Pen in runoff presidential election early May. And North Korea's national carrier expands into everything from cigarettes to gas stations as more sanctions loom. A sigh of relief for disgraced former chief executive Donald Tsang. For now, he was released from jail on a $100,000 cash bail today, pending his appeal against a misconduct conviction. The 72-year-old in his signature bow tie emerged from the High Court this afternoon after being granted bail. Tsang was convicted in February of misconduct in public office for his negotiations with a businessman over a Shenzhen penthouse. He was sentenced to 20 months in prison. During his confinement at the Stanley prison, he was hospitalized twice because of breathing problems. Speaking to the press today, he thanked his supporters.
I would like to thank the countless fellow Hong Kong citizens, my friends, colleagues, for their kind regards, sympathy, and faith in my innocence. At the same time, there's also a lot of bitterness in my heart that cannot be translated into words. But anyhow, I trust Hong Kong people, and I will continue to love Hong Kong.
To France, where Parisians awoke on Monday morning to a new political landscape with the two centre-right and centre-left groupings that have dominated French politics for 60 years no longer in the running for presidency. Instead, centrist Emmanuel Macron took a big step towards the French presidency by winning the first round of voting. He now qualifies for a May 7th runoff alongside far-right leader Marine Le Pen.
Hey, get down.
Once seen as the dark horse in the presidential election, Emmanuel Macron emerged the winner in the first round on Sunday. The 39-year-old centrist candidate was greeted outside his home this morning by supporters cheering for him. The presidential hopeful will now face far-right leader Marine Le Pen in the runoff election on May the 7th.
We've made the first step which will take the French people to the Élysée Palace. This result is historic. It confers on me the immense responsibility of defending the French nation, its unity, its security, its culture, its prosperity, and its independence.
The gloves are already off for round two, with Le Pen's top advisor launching a stinging attack on Macron. Speaking on a TV show, Florian Philippot called the former economy minister arrogant and said politically he's not a patriot. Philippot said he's delighted to have a real second round because it presents two completely different visions of France. But the National Front's vision is the reason there's an anxious push for the left to compromise in favor of Macron in the presidential runoff. French government spokesman Stéphane Le Foll said in a TV interview that a Le Pen win would lead to, quote, the destruction of Europe, leaving the euro and a return to nationalism. Meanwhile, out on the streets of Paris, the Representative Council of Black Associations held a public exhibition of a human billboard temporarily tattooed with racist insults. The aim was to raise awareness against racism in the country following the far-right candidate's first-round win. Sunday's outcome is a huge defeat for the two centre-right and centre-left groupings that have dominated French politics for 60 years. Clashes involving far-left demonstrators took place after results emerged. And there'll be a tense race to the end, with a highly contested first round giving Macron just under 24% of the votes against Le Pen's 21.5%. And back locally, 15 members of the pro-Beijing DAB party met with Chief Executive-elect Carrie Lam this morning. They include the party's chairwoman Starry Lee and lawmakers Elizabeth Quat and Horace Cheung. It's believed the group discussed livelihood issues and voiced out what they expect out of the city's new leader. Among the topics on the agenda was whether the government should reopen the landmark protest site, the so-called Civic Square, but the group remained tight-lipped on whether a consensus had been reached. LegCo President Andrew Leung has refused a majority of the proposed amendments to the government's budget, calling them frivolous and meaningless. More than 700 amendments were tabled by legislators, including 522 from long-hair Leung Kwok Hung.